Alrighty, motor's coming out. Pretty much get everything prepped. I just got to take the terminals off the starter, the alternator, and then it's pretty much ready to come out. I do have to do everything underneath. I haven't done like pulled the drive line or anything, so I gotta get the transmit. I gotta get all the liquids out of the transmission and out of the motor. I've already done coolant. Yeah, I don't. There's really no content or context to this, so this car. As soon as I got it, it was having some clutch issues, but I decided to drive through it. It's running 14 pounds on a Speedy EFI standalone. Good car. Just needs a clutch. So that's what we're doing now. I'm going to pull the motor because I wanted to check the wiring as well and check pretty much over everything because there's some interesting stuff going on that I want to fix. But everything's coming out easy ish. Yeah, and we're pretty darn close. I mean, other than getting all the transmission fluid out, I got to get this thing off the ground on some jack stands, and I'm trying to get the motor pulled tonight, but I don't want that motor sitting on the ground or on the tire because it's not really, it's wobbly to be honest, and I don't want it to fall over. That'd be no good. So I think I'm gonna get everything motor-wise checked out, and tomorrow I believe I'm gonna go to or Harbor Freight and get another engine stand. Probably put that one on it because it doesn't need to be on the ground, and I want to tear it apart here. Not next video because that'll probably be getting this all done up, but maybe the next. We'll see. I want to go drive this thing. I've already thought about it. I'm over it sitting. It's a good car. It's got good stuff on it. Not really good stuff on it, but it's a C-time car. I don't really care if I crash it, so I'm just gonna go drive it until it blows up. Number one, I crash it, or that's really it, I guess. But motor ran strong, so we're just gonna see where it goes and see if I can make it fun. Alrighty, we're back. I got pretty far. I pretty much got everything out. Draining the transmission fluid, and it is, I don't know if you can see that, but like, I don't think this guy ever changed the transmission fluid, to be honest. I mean, Miatas in their plug, see they have a little divot in there. That was completely full of metal. So it just proves, you hear everyone saying on the internet, if you get a car from someone, change all the fluids. Shout out Smedia. He's a Subaru builder, and he builds all types of stuff, really. I can't just say he's a Subaru builder, but he does great work. He always says check your vehicles before you drive them. So luckily I kind of had a spark, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do what he would do and pull everything and check everything. Good thing I did, because this transmission probably wouldn't have lasted more than 2 to 3 shifts. It probably would have kapooied after the after a couple of them at least. But drain plug's clean, kinda. I'm still gonna douse it with some stuff, but I'm curious how this stuff is looking. Okay, just kidding. It is still draining. So I'm gonna grab a rag from over here, just clean this thing, give it another second, wait till I got this thing completely clean, and then we can go over to checking the actual transmission, because so far seeing this doesn't really give me hope. I mean, like I said, I'm glad I caught it, but I mean, it's still pretty shiny. So I guess we'll see how long this transmission lasts. Like earlier, I have another one over there under the bench, so I'm not like crazy worried. I would not like to change the transmission if I don't have to within like the next 1,000 miles or so. But you know what? You gotta do what you gotta do. Okay. Drain plug, pretty clean enough. I'm gonna put this thing back in, and then we're going to pull the thing out and see how it looks. God, that stuff looks thick though. Oh my god. I'm gonna spray all this stuff down too, because the transmission and it's having a hard time going into the threads because of the metal. That's good. That's a great sign. Just kidding, it's not. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh my gosh, okay. I don't know if you can see the swirls. Yeah, she had a lot of metal in her. Okay. And I mean, to be honest, that is like, that's probably half a quart of oil, which is not good whatsoever. Center console is out. I'm not taking it out because there's a whole bunch of wires and random things that are just shoved in here that I gotta redo. But shifter, short shifter, this is like the little sandwich plate that goes onto it. I'm not gonna take it off tonight because there's a whole bunch of smaller pieces in there and I don't want to lose them, and I'm kind of getting tired. So yeah, we're gonna pick this up tomorrow. Alrighty, we're back with the miata build. A couple days later, I had some things come up. Both the engine mounts, you can see it on the ground right there. They were both trashed. Both of them were broken when I took the motor out, so I had to order some. So yesterday I didn't really get anything done, but pulled the valve cover and the front of the turbo housing off, and we painted it. So it's a lot better than the gold. It's gray. A lot better in my opinion, because the gold was just not my thing. But we do have the engine mounts coming into AutoZone today at around 3-4 o'clock. It's pretty much around those times, so Right here we have a brand new clutch. Well, first off, let's start with this. I have an old flywheel that I did have to scuff the surface because it was a little rusty. I read online, said it was completely fine, so this car it doesn't need to be perfect. We got a 4-disc spec clutch, just an eBay clutch, and then we have its pressure plate that comes with it. That's pretty much what's going back in the car. Yeah, we got the clutch alignment tool. We got pretty much everything we need besides the engine mounts, which hopefully here in no time I'll get a call. We can go pick those up, but for now I'm going to start assembling. I'm going to put the clutch back on, the flywheel and the clutch back on, and then from there we can really we can put the transmission back on. I got fluid in this thing. I'm using some Valvoline 7590 just because that's kind of what I read online everyone was using. We got a new air filter for the turbo because every time I went in they didn't have the smaller filters, they had the bigger ones, so finally got one of those. But other than that, I think we're just gonna put the clutch on. Actually, we're gonna put the valve cover in the front of the turbo back on, the turbo housing, and then from there we're gonna get the transmission all ready to go. Sorry I didn't videotape any of this stuff because I had a buddy over. He was painting his tailgate of his truck and I didn't really want to videotape and have him be awkward or say something that I would get demonetized for, so that's that. But here we are, everything's in shambles, so now we got to do the harder part, I guess, and slap it all back together. So here we go, let's see what we can do, and yeah, I'll catch you guys here in a second. Alright, so got a problem, messed up a little bit, but you know what, it's alright. So flywheel, see how the middle bearing is? Yeah, I messed up and slipped and hit it, and it dented the bearing a little bit, so it doesn't spin anymore. Simple thing, but I am not going to let this motor sit very long. Yeah, so stock flywheel is going back on, which is okay with me because honestly I thought about it, and the 4-puck clutch grabbing onto the lighter flywheel, it was not going to be a great time. So the heavier flywheel, it'll help. I guess it'll skip a little bit with the clutch. It won't be such an abrupt grab. So yeah, so I guess things worked out in my favor, I guess, kinda. But we're gonna get this flywheel all torqued up, put the clutch on it, and then we're gonna slam the transmission in it. Not slam it in it, but obviously just put it on. I already showed you the transmission oil, so that's good. So yeah, this is really the easy part. Let's get to it. Put you guys on a time lapse and see if we can get this thing on today, and hopefully in the car. That's kind of the plan. But I do want to hopefully clean this bay up a little bit because the stuff the guy was using, it's just this little like plastic sheathing. I don't know if you can see that, but it sucks. It's all like crinkling up and pretty much like breaking apart and disintegrating in your hand when you touch it. Some of it, most of it, that was next to heat. So I want to go through, wrap a few different wires before we put it in. I kind of want to clean up the engine bay as much as I possibly can so it doesn't look like poopy, because right now it doesn't look the greatest. And yeah, I'd rather have it look decent and not have any like major leaks. So let's get the time lapse rolling and let's get this thing hopefully in the car today. Alrighty, from the beginning of the video till now, got the gray. Looks 10 times better. I haven't moved the motor or anything. I just wanted to do a little update on the valve cover and the turbo. So that's a little update. Now we're gonna get on to the clutch and we're gonna get this thing ready to go and hopefully be driving here within the next day or so, depending on if I can get those engine mounts, because that's really all that's stopping me. But we're gonna get the clutch on like I said. So there's your little update. I'll be back with the flywheel on, torquing it. So I just put the stock flywheel back on because things happen. I gotta torque it right now, but like I said, things happen. So it's about time. I'm gonna run down to AutoZone, go check if they have those motor mounts. Alrighty, so we just got a call from AutoZone saying that my engine mounts are in, which is sweet. And then I gotta check. My torque wrench only goes down to 20, but you can go to 19. But it kind of sketches me out, so I'm gonna see if this one will go down. I don't even know how to use this one. Hold on, let's set this up. I'm trying to figure this out. Now I got a little one that my buddy left here. So those are Newton meters. Those are inch pounds. I can convert it, but this is only a quarter inch, so we're just gonna send it with the big one. Hopefully it doesn't break one off, but if it does, I'll just have to get one at AutoZone. So I guess let's set this up there, get it ready to put on, get all the Loctite in it, and always remember, I don't know if I said this in the video already, I may have in the other take when I had the other flywheel on, but Loctite your bolts that are on a rotating assembly because they will come loose. Alrighty, we got the motor mounts. I don't know if you can see that. That's the part number. So we got 2 of them, obviously. But clean the little metal trays that they go in, I guess. Also, I got some sludge off of here. It's still, like, as you can see, there's still stuff in it, but it's good enough. It doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, so I just swapped the throttle bearing. This is kind of one thing I want to add in here. Always check them if you're doing a clutch, because most of the time your clutch kit it might come with one, it might not. I'm not really sure. I can't say most of the time, but this thing is completely seized up. Don't think it was even doing anything. Like there's no play in the bearings. It's seized. So yeah, always replace them. This one's looks like it's been on there not too long, but yeah, I just wanted to put that in here because it was pretty interesting. Tried to pull it off and twist it. and it didn't care, didn't like it. So back to putting the clutch on. Okay, so we got clutch on, freaking clutch alignment tool out. It's all good. It's all torqued down to 19 foot-pounds. Nothing broke like I thought it was going to, but it wasn't much. So all of them have Loctite. All of them are good. Now, I guess what we can do is put the transmission on the motor, but before so, I'm gonna go get my engine mounts from AutoZone, and I'm going to clean that up because it's disgusting, and I don't want to deal with all that sludge when I have to mess with it under the car. So, and I think I'm gonna get like some other rags or degreaser and spray some of the subframe and kind of give it a little scrub down before we put the engine in it. But other than that, we're freaking, all I have to do is put the transmission on, engine goes back in the car, and we start working away. So I'm gonna go get these engine mounts. I'll catch you guys in a second. This motor, I checked the oil on it, and it was iffy. Looks like it possibly pushed coolant up through the head and mixed. But we're just gonna do an oil change. I'm gonna run it until it blows up, and then I also have another motor for it right there. So I'm not really worried about it. But when this motor comes out again, I'm gonna do some research on the internet and try and figure out all these wires, what I can delete and what I can't, because I want to do kind of a not a cleaned engine bay, but just simplify it, because there's a lot of just random stuff in here that I don't need really. So yeah, we're gonna do that, but it's really putting the engine or the transmission back on. I remembered this this kid. So I have all the bell housing bolts here and numbered them like I always do, because it makes it simple. But the kid, so I technically go from the top of the bell housing and I'll go clockwise. So obviously at the top of here, I'll go clockwise and I'll count this as 1. And then I'll go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think that's 1, 6, like down. So the kid didn't have starter bolts. He had 1 starter bolt in this engine. So that's something I kind of got to figure out as well, because I don't know how it was even doing its thing. I don't know if I have any more starter bolts anywhere, but I'm going to check around. If I can't find anything, then we're just gonna run it, because it worked obviously and I didn't know about it. But yeah, so we're gonna put this transmission back on, slide it in, and hopefully get this thing in the car here shortly. I'm actually gonna do some cleaning up around my area, because there's a lot of random stuff, and yeah, I need to get it out of the way. But transmission's going on here right now in this time lapse. Transmission's on, met up pretty nicely. Now we're gonna take engine mounts off and put the new ones on, get them ready to go in the car. Then I can put the starter on, and then this thing's ready to go in again. I believe the only thing I don't have 100% is coolant, which kind of sucks, but I mean we can start it. I mean, we got some coolant. I don't know which stuff's not good, because the old stuff was it was disgusting, so I'm not going to use it again. But motor's about ready to go in again, which is sweet. So yeah, we're gonna take the engine mounts off. I'm gonna clean them a little bit and get rid of some of the gunk, because they're pretty nasty. But we're gonna do that here in a second. Grab some of these old shop rags and excuse me, and get to work. So time lapse it is. Alrighty, so engine's in the car. I don't have motor mounts. They're not like tightened on or anything, but man, that took forever. I had an issue where the engine lift, the chain, it was over one notch, so the engine was tilted off to the opposite side, and it just would not go in. So it was just a pain, but luckily for you guys, it was like probably 5 seconds. But yeah, so motor's in. Front of the engine and the front of the turbo are all nasty now because I had to push on them, which sucks, but I'll clean them off, see how that goes. We're gonna tighten the motor mounts up and then see how this whole thing turns out. And I need to go get some coolant, because that's the only thing I really forgot about. But the engine's in, which is pretty cool. I didn't think I was going to be able to get it in tonight because the whole debacle with the engine lift. Sorry, I can't even think right now. My mind's numb because this took so long. But yeah, it's finally in. Engine mounts, the C brace. Then I can really put the driveline in, wrap everything up top, and then freaking put it on the ground, and you can start it up and test out the new clutch, because this thing is going to be pretty interesting, because I have a 6-puck in that one, and it says the new clutch is more aggressive than the 6-puck, obviously, because it's 4. But yeah, so we'll test it out. We'll see how it goes. I just can't wait to drive this thing without it, or drive it with it not slipping the clutch, because I tried to drift it a couple times or do a couple burnouts, or not burnouts, but just slide it sideways, and it would slide sideways for a second and then it would stop just because the clutch was slipping. But yeah, let's get working on this thing. Let's get the rest of it buttoned up and see what we can get done tonight, and see if maybe here tomorrow, probably tomorrow or Tuesday, get this thing driving. But we'll see. Catch you guys in a little bit. Alrighty. The old 1.6 turbo Miata. is officially done. I have taken it for its first test drive. It did very good. Yeah, everything's back in, tightened up. It runs actually very well. Redid the oil, transmission fluid, got all new coolant. It's all bled. I checked the diff fluid. It was completely fine, so I wasn't really worried about it. But the car is ready to go, and I'm going to be putting it up for sale here very soon. So that's kind of the ending on the whole Turbo Miata. As you can see, there's obviously more of that content to come, so not too worried about getting rid of this one. Alrighty. Forgot to film an outro. As you guys can see, the Turbo Miata is officially done, ready to hit the streets. Yeah, that's kind of it for that car. Now we move on to the old 240. As you can see, I did my first little short. Go check it out. But that's kind of the end of it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.